every one of us feel like we're smarter than another. To such an extent, excuse me, we don't want to hear nothing from another. But I'd like to serve notice on us. No animal needs help from another. You don't find one beast that feel he needs help from another. It's instinctively inborn in him. He don't need help. He have within himself all he needs. I'm only bringing out some facts that you can check yourself out here and see. There's a little small animal get into a fight with a larger one. The large animal, they have him in his mouth, beat him against the ground. Maybe he opened his mouth and release him. So the little fella running on off, saving his life. He'll turn right around and come on back and stay there and fight back until the other kill him. How many of these so-called human that you don't find the same thing yet? That's right. We can understand about that when we learn about the cause. In the evolutionary creative period coming down, when everything got into where it had to get its food from atmosphere, the conflict began. The stronger began to devour the weaker manifest. And here is where the common law of evolution began having its rise. And the survival of the beast became the first law on the planet. And when you hear people say today, self-preservation, the first laws of nature, don't brag about that anymore. You make yourself look bad. It's only talking about that deep brute nature in you. You should have risen above it now. You should be embarrassed even to think about it. You should be that advanced in your evolutionary progress at this time. Let alone bragging about it. And that's exactly what you're doing. When you say self-preservation, the first laws of nature, I want you to know from this evening on what kind of nature it was. It's the beast nature. That's right, the beast nature. Although that's what exists in reality.
Yes, sir.
Most of us have not met a man or an individual yet that's risen above the brute nature in himself. Yes, sir. Bless your heart. Come on around and have a sit down. Glad to see you. Good evening, sir. Very few that's risen above it yet. I was reared in the country, in part, more or less, I should say, altogether. And I'm very grateful for being that close to nature. We used to raise hogs. And my dad would raise lots of them. And I used to love to go in a lot to play pigs. Excuse me. And many times that old sow run me out of lot. Because if I played with one of those little pigs and made him squeal or holler, I better take the fence. She'd come to devour me. I'd go and get the food can, come back. Sometimes she'd be lying down wrestling. When I come back, if she desired to eat and the little pigs was large enough, they'd jump up and start running. The feed truck. They'd jump over in the trouble, sit down and stand up in it trying to eat. She'd eat on down, she'd get to one of them and take her nose and toss them up in the air. They hit the ground, squeal and holler, knock the breath out of themselves. She'd look around and she'd have to get the last one. Why? You make one squeal or holler and see what happens.
Yes, sir.
Yeah? It's all right for her to do it. Why is she doing that? Because they become an opposition, a competition to her to defeat trouble. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Now let's come to the two-legged one. That two-legged beast.
Yes, sir.
You'll kill someone about his brother.
Yes, sir.
When the same brother become an opposition, a competition to him, look out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, he sure enough want to do something to someone about his woman.
Yes, sir.
But now when she becomes too much opposition and competition to her, look out, she's going to get it too.
Yes, sir.
Here is where we are. You haven't hardly met one in your life that's risen above that brute nature yet. That's right. And how important does he think he is and feel that he is?
Yes, sir.
And every one of those animals are independent of each other. You don't need no help from you. These are things that we as personalities need to come to some awareness of.
Yes, sir.
What you think about each other is nothing. Can hardly endure one another. That's right.
Yes, sir.
And you'll try it for a while, and afterwards you listen. Let me tell you one thing. I'll take much as I'm going to take of it. I can't stand no more of that now.
Yes, sir.
And that individual maybe just talking,
Yes, sir.
just expressing themselves.
Mm.
But that bitterness and that enmity rise up in your soul. You just can't stand it. Did you not know that that love and hate playing on the same keyboard?
Yes, sir.
You don't know how to love yet. I tell you little old silly women, you're not satisfied if a man don't say that he loves them.
Yes, sir.
I tell him, listen, that man's treating you pretty good. And if he don't never say he loves you, you about better be satisfied. And if that old woman don't ever tell you that, you better go on and be kind of satisfied about that. Because when she tells you she loves you, you're on dangerous ground. That's right.
Yes, sir.
No dangerous ground. If you ever notice it when you get around someone that you really dislike, you get an extra palpitation of the heart, an extra emotion rises. And you get around someone that you call yourself loving, the same thing happens,
Yes, sir.
playing on the same keyboard, the keyboard of your emotion. You haven't risen any above, you haven't risen above that yet. You know when you will have risen above it? When you reach the human kingdom. Emotion is used to bring man to the kingdom. Shock wakes up sensitivity and intelligence in man. Here's a fella gonna kill everybody almost. You can't tell him nothing. Can't do anything with it. The man come along, hit him upside the head 2 or 3 times that nightstick. He's the most intelligent fella you ever seen.
Yes, sir.
It subdued the beast in him that allowed nature to manifest itself. The naturalness of your being. Your brute nature is preventing that. That's why today, the aspiration and self-discipline must proceed side by side. And it has to be consciously self-imposed. Why? Because everything is complete control of law. That's what we need to know today.